Hello, and welcome to another episode of US Law Live, the official podcast of the US Law Network. I am one of your esteemed hosts, Jessica Dark from the Oklahoma firm of Pierce Couch, and I am joined by Pam Halford from Dothan, Alabama. Hi, Pam, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good, Jessica. I was telling people, like I usually do, last week at the Transportation Exchange and Roundtable, that Dothan, Alabama is the armpit of the United States. And to further that, it was like 85 degrees here on Saturday, and we have a freeze warning today. I mean, I can't, it's wild.
Okay, well, you bring up the Transportation Exchange and Roundtable. Tell me where that was held, Pam.
It was in Las Vegas, Nevada. So
Okay,
I was there from Sunday to Friday, which is entirely too long to be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
well, that is a really good segue for me to introduce our newest guest, Miss Julie Proscia, because a couple years ago, Julie and I got to spend a lot of time, very good bonding time together in Vegas at the Labor and Employment Forum. Hi, Julie, how are you?
I am awesome. Hello, hello. Thank you both for having me here. I am super excited. I have been jonesing to be on this podcast since it started, and almost was on it before, but through a series of scheduling mishaps did not make it. So it's like my lifelong dream has been fulfilled.
You are literally the only person that has ever said that, will ever say that, and you are now officially my favorite person within the whole network.
Oh, well, that was all it took. I'm right there.
Well, Julie, what is going on? Tell us everything. What's been up at Amundsen Davis?
Sure. So for everybody, I am in Illinois at Amundsen Davis at the Chicago-based law firm, or the Illinois law firm for US Law. And we are doing fabulous. We have and are continuing to grow and expand as we want to do in the Midwest. I am in the Labor and Employment Practice Group, which is all Jessica, which is why she said that, we were at the forum a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. Fabulous, fabulous time. I don't know, it's a toss-up between who has more fun at these events, if it's transportation or labor and employment, and I dare say that we win.
Oh,
Yikes.
No,
I don't know. I don't know.
we should do a mashup.
Ooh, that would be a really fun mashup.
It would be so fun. We would also probably need criminal attorneys to bail us out.
Criminal attorneys and also like the IV people on standby.
Absolutely.
That's what I think is cool about labor and employment. You can tack us to almost any practice area because everyone has employees and needs to know how to deal with them.
Yes, so true. Absolutely.
Exactly. You need us regardless if it's like a super great economy and you're hiring and you're opening up offices, which is great and like the best job for us. But also if like there's economic troubles, like you've got layoffs that you have to worry about, or you have union negotiations. So we're like the people you see through the good and the bad. We like got your back either way.
I love that. How busy are you these days, Julie?
I am incredibly busy, but in the best of ways, in that it's like just the step before you want to start pulling out your hair type of it's pretty awesome. There is a Illinois likes nothing better in life than to be California's younger sister. It's like the Jan of states. So have the armpit, but we are the Jan of states. So everything California does, about 2 years later, Illinois is like, I want to do paid leave like they do. So we are perpetually busy in Illinois. And for every time the federal government gets mired and can't pass legislation or is changing course when administrations change, Illinois is like, hold my beer, I got you, we'll do it.
I have got to come up with a good name for Oklahoma. I think we can be worse than an armpit, and the middle child's interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this. I'll unveil that name maybe on our next podcast.
I love that.
Oh, no, wait. If everyone would like to send in suggestions, jdark@peerscouch.com. The funniest will be read along with your email, so you can also use it as a networking opportunity.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Jessica. What a great idea.
Call to action, folks. It's a call to action.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. That is a fabulous tie-in for you. I love it. Now not only will I be Googling Florida body parts, but now also like what can we call the Okies?
I mean, it looks like a pot that you would cook food in, with a handle and a pot.
I mean, I also think like ChatGPT could probably help you with this.
Oh, so we're outsourcing to AI now, yeah.
I mean, I have talked about this on the pod before. I have a new boyfriend and his name is Harvey. And he is my AI program here at the office. And when I tell you I use him for everything like one should do a boyfriend, I do. He is incredible. My efficiency is so much higher these days, and I'm on the road all the time. So this is, I mean, it's just the greatest thing ever.
What are some specifics? What are some tips that I can take away from this and put into practice?
It does like jury verdict synthesis for me, and then lets me know like what trends seem to be applicable in my cases. I upload the entire case file into Harvey, and then I tell it, for example, prepare the responses to the interrogatories directed at the defendant as though you are counsel for the defendant. And it gets me a pretty darn good first draft, and it goes through all of the case file documents to mine for that information. So it does it in under 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
What would take me, hours upon hours upon hours. I mean, it takes a while to get there, to get everything into it, and to, I mean, you can't just send that off right away. Otherwise, you'll end up like a Morgan and Morgan lawyer being sanctioned by the court. So, you've got to go through it and take a lot of time to make sure everything looks good. But
what about you, Julie? Are you using that?
So I not to that degree or level. I am a incredible fan of AI for fun things. Because I have to throw this out there because I'm legally obligated for the next 2 months to say I just came back from the Olympics. Like you have to.
No way.
I did. And you you legally obligated, to just like throw out a non-humble brag.
Yes.
But I use the snot out of it for purposes of like, find me restaurants that are like this far away, rank them in order, do things like that. And so I use the snot out of it for that. And then for work, it's more so for emails that I'm using it. I'm not using it to try and synthesize things like that. More so than detailed research or anything like that. I'm not there yet on case files. So there are some individuals in our firm who have had incredible, who are send it along and be like, this was a great first draft. Obviously you have to go through it in depth and detail, but it's a good start type of thing.
I typically do outlines, prepare a basic deposition outline of a fact witness to a car wreck. And yeah, same thing. It gives me just a nice outline with headings and bullet points. And then I go back and add and fluff and remove. But it definitely saves that initial okay, sit down at the computer. Where do I want to start? So I've only really been using it for, I'd say, outlines, deposition outlines mostly.
It's also really good for when you're writing personnel policies that are just more of the kind of generic policy. You want to get the first outline of the whatever dress code policy, whatever type of thing, and you put in some of the specifics. It really helps you kind of hone that down for things like that. So that's kind of the fun use for it. One of my colleagues describes it as it's like a mediocre first year law student that you have or first year associate, where you have to look at everything they're doing to make sure it's correct and make sure that they're not inventing it, but it gives you a really good start. And I'm like, that's a really good, fair comparison, right?
I think that is a great comparison. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say?
Well, we were probably going to ask for some follow-ups on the Olympics. What
Yeah.
did you go see? What was your favorite? What are your tips for people who want to go to the Olympics in the future?
Okay, so I have a few different favorite things, but the opening was gorgeous. It was the most beautiful thing. I was so incredibly proud to be Italian. Like, I cried, people next to me cried, the whole stadium cried. It was just beautiful. That was really neat. We got to see the team figure skating finals. So that's where US won gold.
It was so awesome, Julie. Oh my God.
So those were like the big like event highlights that we saw. And then the big US law type of highlight is that Andrea, who is one of our board members, who is the TELFA law firm in Italy. They have a Milano office, and he is in Milano. And so I got to go there and meet with him and meet with his colleagues and check out their firm. And that was just lovely. So it was like the US law cherry on top of the Olympic trip.
Oh, Tommy Thornton will be so proud of you. You know, his favorite thing to say is wherever you're going, whether it's for a soccer tournament or a deposition, look someone up, look up your US law firm, go visit them.
And it's really a page in Tommy Thornton's book that I've started to do that recently because why wouldn't you? Like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, but I love you. Why wouldn't, if I was in your town, why would I not come say hi to you? If I was, why wouldn't I go say hi to Robin McGrath? Why wouldn't you do that? So I'm like, yeah. So the past couple of years, I started doing that.
So when's your next flight to the armpit of Alabama? Pam needs to put you on her calendar.
Yeah. So I'll have to check with Harvey.
Oh, I love it so much. Julie, tell us a little bit about your experience with US law. I mean, you've been in leadership, you've been around here for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your path to where you are now.
Sure. So I started in US law and labor and employment when the individual who was our US law person for labor and employment left the firm to go in-house. And I think that was probably the greatest move for her individually, for her personal career and life choice. And it just worked out incredibly well for me because I got to then jump into her stead. And from there, I was able to rise kind of through the labor and employment leadership, and was always the obnoxious person, and am still always the obnoxious person who's like, sure, I'll speak, I'll do that, whatever. There's in every group, right? There are a few attorneys who are like Jessica and I are 100% like those attorneys in our group who are like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tag us, put us in, coach, we'll do whatever. And was able to do that. And then last year, now it'll be my second year on the board and third year, I had the opportunity to move up to the board of directors. And that has been an incredible experience. It is very interesting to see behind the scenes, how everything, how much thought and intention gets to it. And then this year, I moved into the executive committee. Starting last fall. And so now it's even more of a look behind the curtain of how many hours go into it beforehand, before it even gets to the board to go to that next step. And so it's been a very interesting and a very fun progression of holy cow, the thoughtfulness that goes in is just how would this impact a smaller firm versus this region versus a larger firm? And we want to make sure that that's impacting everybody in a way that's beneficial. And we want to make sure that that's hitting all practice groups. That is something that is incredibly well-intentioned.
What is that leadership path like on the executive committee? I mean, I guess, what do you start as?
So I think you start as executive committee person. So I'm just on the executive committee. I don't have a officer role on the executive. And I'm not quite sure how it goes after that. Like if it's like if it's a specific path where it's like, because generally I think you move up from treasurer to vice chair and to chair, but I don't know if that's like that's a required path or if it can deviate at all. So
Right.
hey, I'm just happy I'm just happy I'm an exec. I haven't gotten that far yet.
I totally get it.
Well, in 2026, the Women's Connection is celebrating its 20th anniversary. So we're so glad to have you on in March for Women's Connection Month. What are you looking forward to over the next couple years or however long, I guess, for the Women's Connection of US Law?
I am so excited. I was able to or honored to be the liaison from the board of directors to the women's law group and for the connection. So I'm incredibly excited about that. I think that it is what I'm really excited about is that I think it's a group that it's probably one of the strongest groups in US law, right? I mean the relationships that are formed between attorneys and between the clients are so strong and last that I think that it's something that is only going to increase with the advent of the essentially whole month of events that we have going on. I think that's something that will continue on, not necessarily to that degree, right? Because like nobody could keep it up for, every single year, but I don't think it's going to be something that's just going to be limited. I think that people are going to really continue to embrace that.
Yeah, I think so. Are you, Julie, going out to the Women's Connection in-person event in Beverly Hills?
Heck yeah. Are you kidding me? I would have shanked somebody if I wasn't going.
What activity are you doing?
I don't even remember. What were the activities?
Shopping is one. That's the only one I know about or care about.
Not do the shopping one.
I'm very excited for the shopping one. Very, very excited.
I did just get my dress for the red carpet event type of thing. So excited about that. I think the locations are really neat. Where they're going to be held, and then the theme where it's all like flip the script and it's all about set in the genre of the movies because we are in because when we're in the land of La La Land, we're in the land of movies. I think it's just going to be incredibly well crafted and put together, and like the individuals who are facilitators are insane.
I'm so excited. Julie, we always ask our guests to bring sort of a hot topic, something that's fresh on their mind, to our podcast. And so we will ask you the same thing, ma'am.
Sure. So one of the, I guess, hot topics there's like two hot topics that I have that are, because, God forbid, you're a lawyer, still do it one, and you're like, no, I will do two. But they're semi-interrelated. Is that like we are seeing, and Jessica, if you're seeing something different over by you, let me know. But there is an incredible amount and insurgence of EEOC, equal employment opportunity discrimination charges that have been filed. And what's happening right now is that there's like nobody working at the EEOC between shifts in priorities for budgetary finances and funding and shifts in priorities at the EEOC, retirements, shutdown, so on. My joke is that there's like 3 people who work there and it's the same person who's investigating and turning on the lights. So it is completely shifting what's happening with the practice for not only what the administration is covering as a priority for different types of discrimination, harassment claims, because that's completely different than the previous administration, but also the attacks that are happening because things aren't being mediated anymore because there's no mediators to mediate. I just got a mediator assigned from Oklahoma. And I'm like, what, you don't have cases over there that you're over here? And then immediately after they assigned it, the mediator was like, I don't have enough time to do this. And we're going to either have to process it through investigations or we're just going to dismiss it. So it's allowing us to be both more and less aggressive at the same time, more aggressive because they do not have time to investigate anything, and a little bit less aggressive and in the same tone and tenor because there's no mediation avenue. It's not there. So
sorry to cut you off. It's really interesting you say that because it hadn't hit me, but yes, we have so many charges right now and they've come in just over and over and over again lately. But we are having the requests for mediation, and it's very client specific. Obviously, I have some clients who are like, say yes, say yes, say yes. So we're booking all these EEOC mediations. And then I have several other clients who say, I will roll over and die before I pay this person any money, say no. So I'm just experiencing a lot of kind of ups and downs. Something may sit with the EEOC for months and months and months. Or the other day I got the charge and about 3 days later, we got the dismissal and the right to sue. So it's almost just unpredictable. I have no idea what's going to happen.
No. And we're having that same thing. And then the other kind of thing that is in tandem with it is that although AI is great, I'm dying with AI right now for all discrimination complaints because we are getting all of these pro se individuals who are filing these EEOC charges or tendering our clients with these 17-page complaints that clearly ChatGPT drafted about my remedy of rights under whistleblower and common law claims and complaints. And I'm like, oh Lord, at least take out some of the bold so I don't know exactly. But then it's this unrealistic expectation that's getting formulated, and that's not really specific to discrimination complaints, but this unrealistic expectation because they're Googling or putting in ChatGPT, how much is my discrimination complaint worth? And they're like, I want $1 billion. Mm-hmm. And you made $9 an hour and worked for 3 weeks. You don't get $1 billion.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a mediation the other day, and this employee was it wasn't a high wage earner, but not a $9 an hour, and had only been out of the job about 6 months. And the opening demand, I think, was like $250,000. And I was like, sir, I'm pretty, dismayed by that opening demand. That is a lot of money. And he was like, well, you would have been really annoyed if I'd come in with the 1.2 million she wanted. And it was a half day. We did not resolve it. So we will fight another day.
And that's actually why I'm a little bit sad that we don't have many mediators left in the Chicago regional office. And they just a lot of our mediations are, like I said, are getting canceled, or they're just not getting scheduled. They're ineligible for mediation because they don't have the staff to do it. Because with individuals having these unrealistic expectations, of what their potential settlement is, at least, particularly with the pro ses, the mediator would be like, well, let me kind of explain to you how damages work. And in the absence of that, they're like, but I want $1.2 million, where I'm like, man, I would have been okay with the start of 250,000. I'm still only going to pay you 5,000, but somebody could bring them back down to earth type of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Are you seeing an uptick in any certain kinds of discrimination claims, or is it all of them?
Huge uptick in white cisgender males.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of those complaints have increased exponentially, whereas I think in the past 23 years that I've been practicing, I've had 3 or 4 of those complaints. I probably have 20 of those now. It's just insane, how disproportionate that is. And religious discrimination, that one I've also seen a huge uptick in. What about?
No, I feel like it's all of them, any of them. Always retaliation, even though there's absolutely no history or report of prior complaints of discrimination. I think they just see that box and they're like, yeah, I was terminated, therefore I was retaliated. I must click all the boxes.
I was retaliated against. I stole money from the company and I got fired. That is retaliation.
Yeah, I really enjoy the EEOC process though. A lot of times I've been writing mediation statements and sending them in, even though they're not requested or required, because I'm the same sort of thing of all the mediator has is that person's point of view. And it's going to be a waste of my time and my client's time if we have to spend the whole time informing and educating of here's the long process. So I've been spending a lot of time on the front end preparing a really solid mediation statement. And then when we don't settle and they require a position statement, I just basically repurpose that. So I'm not spending too much money with my clients, but also trying to make sure we're in the best posture we can be to try to get it resolved if we want to.
That's really brilliant. That work on the front end would pay dividends like exponentially, because you're right. They come in and they get the individual who's going to go first and tell, their sad story, and you're just like, no. So that is a really good point and a good practice for individuals.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful if they have counsel or not. The sooner their counsel sees, oh, the person hasn't maybe told me everything accurately, the earlier they can kind of start getting them prepared for a more reasonable resolution.
Like a number of times lately, which like it's just bizarre. Like a number of times, like 3 times, but 3 times is a lot. Like in the past couple months where they've made an allegation, I'm like, no, we have the video. Like, take a look at the video. And the law firm, because there's like essentially like 2 law firms that file all of these suits by us. And we're like, take a look at the video. They're like, I won't even look at it. I'm like, look at the video. We're telling you we fired your client for falling asleep, and I have the video of them asleep. And they're like, no, it's like, it just amazes me. So, yeah, those are kind of like the 2 things that are kind of like interconnected right now, is that the change in the shift of priorities is making it interesting. Oh, and pregnancy discrimination. My Lord, that's the other one. The 3 complaints is interesting for how things are being prosecuted or investigated, and the lack of staff within the region is really changing how we have to practice, because it's pushing everything to the Illinois Human Rights Department, which, that's really fluxing how they're doing it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, we have a few more minutes. I would be remiss if we didn't ask some fun questions. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you doing when you're not typing away at your keyboard?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. So, for reading, I am reading crap books. Like they're almost not worth to recommend, because right now I am truly like so into the weeds with like heavy stuff with work that I can only like read like Emily Henry like type of
Love it.
romance, where it's like there's no intellectual capacity, but I'm like, okay, it's like a warm hug. And then, oh, okay, so here is my fabulous thing that I'm watching slash brag thing that I have to throw in, because if the Olympics thing wasn't enough. So do either of you 2 watch, because I'm also 90 years old, do either of you 2 watch All Creatures Great and Small? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, so
Tell us everything.
so it's kind of good that like this is not on video, because the like look of snort that I just did that they saw that everybody else did not see was awesome. So All Creatures Great and Small is on PBS, and it's like, it is how I describe it. It's like a warm hug. It is like chicken soup for the soul, my friend. So it's set in northern England, back like in the 1930s, 1940s, and then right coming out of World War II. And it's based on these set of books about veterinary practice. And it's like all this like very gentle, sweet, like the stakes are very low. There's animals aren't going to die. Like nothing's actually, like 1 animal has died in like 5 seasons. Like the stakes are very low. But it's like very sweet. It's very funny. And so like, I love that. It's just like the balm to my soul when things are bad. I'm like, I'll just rewatch this. But so the season finale was last night. And because PBS is always trying to get money, because, it's public broadcasting, they had a thing where it was like, donate whatever it was, like $60 or $50, I don't remember, and your dog or cat could get entered in the all creatures great and small contest, so that, you know, the winners, the few winners, will go on the, like, will go before the season finale. We'll post them and we'll show them on the public broadcasting and on WTTW in Chicago. And my puppy made it.
No.
And so, like, I was sending to the family text strings and to our friends last night. I was like, look, Noelle is famous. I'm like, my dog's a rock star. And like, nobody cares, but I care.
Look how happy you are, Julie. That's the kind of stuff that makes us happy.
Right? It completely made my like day. I sent it to so many people. Was it like super obnoxious? It 100% was. And I am like in for it.
I am happy.
I love it so much.
I'm proud of you. I would
Yeah.
like a video clip of it.
Yeah.
I will text you the picture of me taking a picture of the TV. And thank God it wasn't on video, because I like wooted and like the dog. I was like, "You're so famous," and she's like, "I know, Mom. I know."
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Proud dog mom.
That's my recommendation, is All Creatures Great and Small, when you want just like a little bit of balm to your soul, where it's gentle and it's kind and it's kind of a nice, where it's like, I can't, like, you need the juxtaposition of that and like news.
Yes, for sure. Well, Julie, we've loved having you on today, but we have run out of time, and they will get the old hook out here if we don't get off the stage, get off the mics. Any last words?
Just thank you so much for having me. This was super fun. It lived up to the expectations of all I want in life, is to be on your podcast. So like, my dreams are fulfilled. I got to have my dog on TV. I got to go to the Olympics. I got this. Like, I'm done. I'm in.
Yes, it's all same caliber. Well, we appreciate you, Julie. Keep up the good work. And everyone, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of US Law Live, the official podcast of the US Law Network. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.